Hello and welcome to today's session on Zooming for Zoomers. The aim of today's session is to know how to Zoom with confidence. Because once you get playing with it, it opens a whole host of other possibilities. So getting started is relatively straightforward. All you need to do is go into your favourite app store and download Zoom. It's perfectly free to do so. And the picture on the slide is what the icon looks like. You'll get an email from your host, which will look a bit like this that's on the screen. All you have to do is click on the long hyperlink, and that will redirect you either straight to your app or into the internet, and you'll be asked to open Zoom. Sometimes your host will ask you to register, and if so, you'll get an email that looks a bit like this. And you'll be asked to register in advance. When you click on the hyperlink, you'll be taken to a meeting registration, and all you need to do is type in your name, your email address, prove you're not a robot, and then click on the next button. You should very quickly get a meeting confirmation that looks a bit like this, and all you'll need to do at the start of your meeting is click here to join. You might have to wait a wee bit because your host has decided to put you in a waiting room. Don't worry, that's their job. When you get let into your Zoom meeting, you might see something like this. Where those icons are arranged will very much depend on the platform that you are using, be that the laptop or your phone or your tablet. And also it will depend on the size of the screen. So what you're looking at is what you might see on a computer. So in the middle of your screen, you've got the PowerPoint or whatever it is that your host is sharing. And down the side, maybe across the top, depending on your settings, you will have little icons of videos of the people that are attending your session. But it's the icons down the bottom that I want to point out to you. The mute button is really important. This mute button happens to be on. There's no red line across that. You've got control over whether you put yourself on mute or not, but also your host too. And so it might be if there's a lot of people on your call, just to put yourself on mute. That avoids all sorts of background sound. The second really important icon is the video. You'll notice that in this instance, the video is off. There's a red line through that. And if that happens, they won't see you. So what you have to do is just click on that icon and that red line will disappear. The third icon that you will find really important is the share screen icon. You might get asked by your host to share what you have been doing on screen, be that a website that you've been looking at or some typing. Just make sure that if you are going to share something, it is opened on your desktop and minimized before you hit share screen, otherwise you can't share it. The other most important box is the chat box. The chat box is really useful, particularly if you don't have a microphone, so can't talk aloud, but also helps you to send messages, just like a text message chat, to different participants and your host. It might look a little bit like this. You see down the bottom of the screen, you've got the space to type your message, and you can type any message you like, and you'll notice that it goes to everybody. If you want to send a private message to your host, telling them that you want to step away from the meeting, or you've got a question you don't want anybody else to see, you just hit the little icon here, little down arrow, and then just identify the person to whom you want to send a private message to, and click on send. So that is a quick whistle-stop tour of Zoom for Zoomers. As you can see, it is really, really straightforward to use and simple. You just take the lead from your host, and your host will help you if there's a wee bit of difficulty. And obviously, if the computer doesn't work and behave itself, or you're finding difficulty logging in and getting connected, then just let your host know and they'll help you through it. And also, not only can you use Zoom for things like training and learning, but you can also use Zoom for fun. So lots of people at the moment have been using Zoom to do family games and meeting up with your pals. So there's a whole host of things that you can do with Zoom. So good luck and enjoy Zooming.